Yeah, when it come on and you hear that, you know it's me.
What's up? What's up? It's your boy Hyena Bear, man, and I'm back with
another one.
You know how that go. What I need y'all to do before we get this video going is to go down right now,
like, comment, and subscribe.
And don't forget to share. Like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to share. It's your boy Hyena Bear.
This man just committed mass murder and mercilessly ran over 50 innocent people in a single horrifying rampage.
Oh.
The race was on to catch the mass killer who committed this horrifying act, but he managed to flee on foot into a neighborhood.
Oh, he got out and started walking.
Movement was being recorded, and what would follow is the largest manhunt this town has ever seen.
Hands up! Put your hands where I can see them! Put your hands!
Oh, that was him on the porch. That was him on the porch.
Darrell Brooks had been on the wrong side of the law since he was just 17 years old. He was clearly a troubled and disturbed individual, racking up charges of domestic abuse, reckless endangerment, and was even registered as a sex offender. But all of this seemed to culminate in 2021. On the grand return of the
And he was a registered sex offender? Come on, bro.
Darrell Brooks decided to ruin the lives of countless people as he took his anger out on the Christmas parade in a blind moment of rage. From the hour of 4 p.m., neighbors reported a violent argument coming from Darrell's house. He and his girlfriend weren't on the best of terms.
Oh, he looked like he was high off something. He looked like he was high off something.
It'd be about their troubled relationship. And this one ended in physical violence toward his girlfriend and one of the most violent and senseless acts Wisconsin has ever seen. 30 minutes after the argument, Darrell exited his house and sped across the familiar roads towards the center of Waukesha. And at 4:39, he reached the main street before plowing through the barricades to the Christmas parade at 40 miles per hour.
Oh!
5 seconds in, he claimed his first 4 victims, several members of the Dancing Grannies performance group. As he continued, he pressed on the accelerator, swerving to hit as many people as possible. And rolled a few seconds later.
Oh,
this is when
man.
Police and bystanders began to react, trying to clear the roads, warn others of the attack, and attempt to stop Darrell from driving. Thankfully, this worked to some extent, and only one person was killed 10 seconds later. After a total of 30 seconds of the murder spree, Darrell sped out of the parade route, leaving 62 people injured behind him. Once he was out of the other side of the parade, Darrell fled roughly half a mile from the parade before abandoning his SUV near a house on Elizabeth Street about 6 minutes later. From there, he fled on foot. He even tried knocking on someone's door and claiming he was homeless, asking them to call an Uber for him. He was given a jacket and a sandwich before fleeing when he noticed police searching the area. Not long after, he was captured by a security camera, which helped the cops approximate his route and track him down. It's hard to see.
See, he was walking like this, like he knew he just fucked up.
Darrell trying to inconspicuously navigate his way around Waukesha to escape the police. But given the scale of this event, the cops were dedicating all their resources to finding him. Cops set up a perimeter around where his SUV was found abandoned. Nobody was allowed in or out, meaning that if Darrell was here, they'd find him soon. Eventually, a resident spotted him hiding out in the woods, and the cops were able to narrow their search efforts considerably. After 6 hours into the manhunt, the cops located him at a house in a residential area and moved in to apprehend him.
You should have kept
the body cam footage of that intense
You got
arrest.
the same red shirt on, man. Is that the same porch where he went to tell the people he was homeless? It looked like the same porch. And you took the jacket off they gave you, and that was your way of disguising yourself, because I'm pretty sure people saw you driving that fucking car with that red shirt on, bro.
Stupid.
Damn.
Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
What did you do? Red shirt.
What's your name on it? No. Okay, last. Okay. I just use my phone across the Oh, okay. If everything turns out to be on the up and up, life will be good, and you'll be on your way, all right?
Yeah, bro, you had a red shirt on.
In
Dreads.
custody, the officers were able to begin questioning him, but quickly they were forced to stop due to the fact the FBI wanted to take over this case.
Oh.
I've asked a former detective to analyze this interview, and he was able to give a deep dive into every influential moment. Prior to the investigation, the detectives involved already knew just about everything. They knew he was driving, that he didn't own the car, and that he had found the car key inside his pocket. What makes this interrogation so interesting, though, is that Daryl doesn't even know what he's being brought in for. Police never told him he was suspected of the parade killings. From the cops'
You know what
perspective, this almost
you know what you in there
five-hour-long
for.
interrogation wasn't really to figure out if he did it, more so to see how Brooks would react. They wanted to see how much he'd lie, and if he'd felt any remorse for what he'd done.
Stay that way. Stay that way.
The shoulder.
There you go. All right. All yours.
Oh, you can drop your ass now. I think I appreciate it.
Holy shit.
How long you been out of work?
See, when did I get locked up? Just a few months.
Anything to do with the pandemic?
Yeah, that's the reason why, yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
It made me smooth off. I got stuff lined up though, so.
Yeah, like what?
I'm probably gonna go back. I was working at a sheet metal place, so I'm probably gonna go back there.
And you stay at your, is it your mom? You talked about your mom. Is it her address you stay at now?
She owns the house.
She owns
the house. She doesn't stay there anymore, but she owns the house.
Okay.
She has her own house.
I think we put your mom as emergency.
The detectives have already found the first indication that Brooks is willing to lie. If you haven't noticed, the extreme shoulder pain Brooks complained about earlier has miraculously vanished just a few minutes into the interview. He was able to move his arm effortlessly as if the pain never existed, something that would later be used as
He do all the motherfucking moves with his arms. Like your shit was just hurting. Now you all like
divert his attention.
When you left Stephanie's, it was still daytime.
Good.
It was still daytime. Okay. Were there still a lot of people out?
It was still people out.
Okay.
It was still people out. Not a lot in that area, but it was a lot of people out. And it was people, like I said, it was people.
Look at that arm. He throwing that shit around.
Younger people walking down the street. People
Was there an event or something was going on?
I don't know, but it kind of seemed like it was a lot, like it was something going on to where it was vibrant.
How long?
Yeah, he moving the shit out that shoulder, boy. I don't know.
And those cops yelling at the door of that guy's house.
Was it dark when they yelled at you?
Yeah, by the time they came, it was dark. But we had been sitting out there. We had been sitting out there for a minute, me and the guy.
To find how long?
Estimate 20, 30 minutes maybe. We were sitting right there, just like this, just sitting on the porch. Well, I called me an Uber. I called the Uber. I said, look, man, I let him know. I said, look, I ain't trying to rob you or nothing like that. Because when I knocked on the door, he kind of was like, whoa. I'm like, look, I don't got no weapons. I'm not trying to break in your house. I'm not trying to rob you.
Daryl has clearly thought a lot about this alibi since he's managing to deliver a lot of very specific details. However, the officers already have mountains of evidence against Daryl and don't believe a word he's saying. As the interrogation continues, Daryl continues to lie until the cops have had enough.
Let me ask you this, Darrell. So you weren't out in Waukesha Saturday, just Sunday.
Yes, sir.
You're a part in the investigation. There's a lot of parts, right? In the investigation, there's
Investigation.
What we talk about. Well, this domestic abuse thing I'm telling you about, right?
Okay.
You talked about being a religious man.
I can do better. I can definitely do better.
We all could.
I'm not.
We all could. That's why.
Yesterday was a mistake. I should have just freaking watched the game and just went home.
And that's the thing. What do they teach us in Christianity, Darrell? That they teach us that we're broken, right? We're sinners. You're a father. You got 3 children, 18, 14, and 7.
Yes, sir.
All right, you got a mama that raised you well, and a God you believe in.
Absolutely.
All right, and all of them are. Here's the thing: they'll all want is to tell you're telling the absolute whole truth and nothing but the truth, right?
Absolutely.
I just have concerns if I fact check that Darrell's not telling me the truth. You don't have a car, so Marcus had to bring you out. You don't own a car, your mom doesn't own a car, right? So why did we find you with a car key in your pocket?
It wasn't in my pocket. I don't even know where they said that was laying on the ground.
The car key in Daryl's pocket is a key part of this case, as it shows that Daryl does in fact drive, despite his statement to the officers. Knowing that he's quickly being backed into a corner, Daryl tried...
Why would you keep the key in your pocket, bro? You just ditch the car. Throw the fucking key away. You ditch the car, ditch the key. Ditch the key. Why would you? And then you get caught with the key. Telling them you don't drive, you don't... Man, I don't know, man. I think I just gotta... I gotta give you this right here.
Stupid! Stupid!
Bro, you's a dummy, man.
Even harder to convince the officers of his innocence. But these officers had done their research and were about to take a different angle that would hopefully guilt him into confession.
It's yours. It's your car key. I'm trying to be as open and honest.
These the feds, they know.
I'm not calling you a terrible man.
They know everything.
I'm not saying you were out yesterday hunting, and just let me finish. But you did not walk to that house. You did not walk to that house. You did not come here in a tan can. You got a key in your pocket to a car, your mom's name. For the love of God, Marcus. For yourself, for your family. You know what happened yesterday. For the people. Tell me what happened.
What?
With the car.
What am I being
With your mom's car. You're
He
driving,
really act-
people call in. You drove out of there in your mom's car, the red car. You're driving a little silly, probably because you're pissed. You met up with Erica in the car at the park. She got in, you talked, and what you're telling me seems pretty consistent, that there was nothing physical.
I didn't put my hands on her, nothing.
But you met her in the car.
Tim, what's going on, man?
Asking you a question.
Just being
You were out there driving kind of crazy. Some people said you were driving kind of crazy.
Daryl is heavily on the back foot now and has very little room to wiggle out of this one. Eventually,
He said, "What's
pressure
going
from the
on,
detectives
man?"
would cause him to cave and admit that he was driving at the time, now choosing to change tactics and try to garner sympathy from the detectives, deflecting blame onto his girlfriend and an apparent alcohol problem.
Erica, she's a sweetheart until she gets that alcohol.
The alcohol's the problem.
Then you all type of jazz is and I have somebody touch you and I'm gonna keep my daughter away from you and even my mom doesn't even like her around when she's drinking.
I've never been with anyone as bad as what you're saying right there, but I think he can attest to it. We've all
He probably look like he didn't do it with some shit.
So, Daryl, what were you thinking when you were driving through this parade?
What am I facing? I have no problem talking with you guys.
You got people injured that had to go to the hospital.
So they're saying I injured somebody, or you're saying I injured somebody. So I'm looking at what, reckless endangerment?
At the very least, yeah.
The very least.
Yeah.
That's reckless endangerment. I don't know exactly what they're going to classify it. Yeah, people had legs broken. Endangerment's where you may have hurt somebody by your actions. You did hurt somebody by your actions. You wanted information from us, for sure. I want you to watch and see what the... Yeah, it's a good point. It's information sharing.
Why do you want me to see that card? Why?
Because I think it's important.
Why is it important? Is it to look like what is it?
Well, why don't you want to look?
Everybody knows what's going on.
There's their children right there. See those are kids. See that little kid right there? You gonna look at it? You're too hurt?
He said it hurts, man.
Emotionally? Don't do that?
The most shocking part about this interview is this moment, when Daryl discovered what had actually happened to the victims. Daryl didn't once ask about the victims or if anyone had lost their lives, very likely because he had no remorse to give and was concerned only for himself. At this point, the detectives have successfully achieved the main objectives of the interview, to get Daryl to admit he was driving the car and to see if he had any remorse. The interrogation was exceptionally long to corroborate the strong evidence they already had and to footage that would persuade a jury that Daryl had no remorse, which is why they let him lie and portray himself as a selfish, evil man as much as possible.
Wow.
And in that trial, Daryl would continue to paint himself in that exact light as he decided to represent himself.
What?
This would result in one of the most ridiculous and infamous court cases ever on the internet.
Yo, come on, bro. You really tried to represent yourself. And you was in court doing all this shit, man. You was in court doing all this shit, representing yourself. Come on, man. Come on, man.
With Daryl screaming, shouting, and even threatening his way through the trial, constantly making legal mistake after legal mistake, ruining his chances.
They stopped him from talking. Now he got to put up work.
So to start with, Detective Jay Carpenter comes to the
Once they got to shut you up and give you shit like that, signs to put up, bro.
Chat in the interrogation room.
You interviewed the defendant, Daryl Brooks, on November 21st, 2021.
Once they giving you signs to put up, objection, and you can't talk, it's over, man. They ready to get you the fuck up out of here, bro. They ready to get you the fuck up out of here, man.
At approximately 11 o'clock p.m. Do you recall that?
Objection. It's being called that name for the record.
Objection is overruled.
Look how you looking at it. Look
You
at
said you were called overruled.
Not relevant.
Yeah, it is relevant.
What observations did you
Oh, you
make
going
during
down.
this clip about the use of his right arm?
Both his arms were to come out like this and move. To me, what a person would do when they're normally conversing. It would seem unusual to make those movements if he was in fact in as much pain as he was claiming to us he was in.
Last night, did we ask for State's Exhibit 81 to be admitted to evidence, which is the defendant's statement provided to Detective Carpenter and Detective Stern on November 21st of last year?
Objection. I didn't provide any statement on the 21st.
Jury will disregard the statement by Mr. Brooks. He is not testifying, therefore his statements are not evidence.
Look at all the boxes of paper.
Objection should be noted for the record.
You may be hearing that Daryl repeatedly keeps calling objections. His legal experience is clear.
That's his favorite. That's his favorite word. Is to say it, is objection. All them fucking boxes of papers you gotta read through. You over there like you scrambling and scraping, like what Diddy said to Nori. I like when you scrambling and scraping. You over there scrambling and scraping for the papers and shit. You don't know which paper to look at.
Based entirely
fucking
on movies
asshole.
and TV. But unfortunately for him, in order for an objection to be sustained by a judge, the objection needs to have a legitimate reason.
No legit.
Daryl is unable to object for a legitimate reason, and as such, almost all of his objections are overruled by the judge, meaning the prosecution is able to continue.
I believe that these photographs are designed to make a suggestion to the jury that Erica Patterson is a bad mom. I think that is what the defendant is trying to do. If we go down that road, we would be forced to counter that claim by pointing out that not only does the defendant not live with the child in question, he doesn't live with any of the other children that he has. He impregnated Erica Patterson when she was a minor in Nevada, and for doing so, he was convicted of statutory sexual seduction. He pled guilty in March of 2007 to that felony offense and is a sex offender on the registry as a result. So if there's any causation that would lead to Erica Patterson being a bad mom, Mr. Brooks has a direct role in that causation.
And that's
Wow.
I'm not, because that's a lie.
Let
Because
him
at the end
finish.
of the day,
Let him finish,
we don't open the door
Mr.
on that. No,
Brooks.
since he want to make a record and not be accurate, so let's be accurate all on the record since you think you know so much.
Once
So
again,
we can
Mr.
open the
Brooks
door
is
on,
being
we can
loud,
open the door on how old she told me she was
disrespectful,
when we met.
interrupting.
We can ask that question
He is
too then.
over the top
Did you ask that?
animated
Do you
right
know
now.
that?
Mr. Brooks, I'm ordering you to sit down.
He look
and
mad as a
let me
motherfucker.
say
No, I'm not going to sit here and let somebody be inaccurate on the record. Yeah.
If you got to do all this shit right here in court, man, you going to jail. You going to jail. If the judge got to argue with you, you doing all this fucking screaming in the court, bro, you going right to fucking jail. You going right to jail.
Stupid!
You going right to jail. You heard? What I like y'all to do,
Like, comment, and subscribe.
and don't forget to share. Don't forget to share. Your boy Hyena Bear.
This is how a huge amount of this trial played out. The prosecution would make a point, and Daryl would get extremely animated and try to deny
Man,
it with
I don't know
nothing
what
but
y'all
anger
trying to
and
do.
false truths.
I don't really
This
wanna go to
example,
jail.
The prosecution mentioned Daryl's sex offender registry, to which he responded by saying that she told him she was 18, as if that excused him of all wrongdoing. But the most shocking and
Look at his face.
unprecedented moment of the trial, when the judge had to stop.
Yo, look how he's looking at. You hit him. Poof. Poof. Yo, he need to get punched in his face. Look how he looking at the judge. What the fuck is that gonna do, man? What the fuck is that gonna do? You think the judge is scared of you? You think the judge is scared of that face right there?
court proceedings, but she felt genuinely scared of him.
So as long as the jury's out, we should probably discuss that.
So that had to be said. So defendant.
That's not how it was said.
That was how I said. You want to run the record back?
Mr. Brooks.
So I'm the only one. I got one.
Mr.
I got
Brooks.
one ear that work, and I heard that.
This is to benefit you so that
No, it's
you
not.
understand
Ain't none of
your
this to benefit me,
witness
so let's be
has
clear
a
about
prior
that.
record.
Your Honor, when I leave the table, I'm away from the courtroom and I have to elevate my voice.
So she got to
Alleged
elevate her
record of
voice just for
ableist
that.
Stop talking.
Come on, man. Like, I don't know who y'all be thinking y'all fooling. I accept the value, return the value. This document.
One more interruption and you're going to be removed to the next courtroom.
That's what you want to do anyway. So can
Your
you tell?
Honor, I
can you
believe he
please-
has 7 prior criminal convictions, an OWI 4th from 2003, criminal trespass to dwelling from 2006.
Right, I need to take a break. This man right now is having a stare down with me. It's very disrespectful. He pounded his fist. Frankly,
The judge put up with an awful lot in this trial and gave Daryl a huge amount of leeway in order to keep everything as fair as possible. But even with all that in mind, he still managed to completely botch his legal defense even when he was acting calm and polite. Take this for example, where he argued he wasn't being given a fair trial because he wasn't
Get that-
allowed
you
to
might as well
confront
go
the state
bald,
of
my
Wisconsin
boy.
itself.
Not if I'm not allowed to face my accuser, Your Honor. My accuser in this matter would be the state of Wisconsin. With all
sir,
due
I believe your
respect,
Sixth Amendment rights in that regard have been complied with.
I'm requesting a written judicial finding of fact and conclusion of law on this issue for the grounds that I just stated. I'm not being awarded the chance to face my accuser, which I should be awarded that.
By technicality, Daryl is correct. The Sixth Amendment does grant him the right to confront the person or persons accusing him of the crime, in this case, that being the state of Wisconsin. But what he's asking is a physical impossibility. The state of Wisconsin is not a person nor a witness. In this
Word.
case, he is being allowed to confront any witness of the crime that's involved in the trial, so his rights are all being met. He's simply grasping at straws by seemingly trying to challenge the U.S. judicial system as a whole. And Daryl's misunderstanding of the legal system was made even more clear when it came to his closing arguments. If he had chosen a lawyer to defend him, maybe he could have gotten away with slightly less charges or a
Whoa.
lighter sentence, but instead, he gave this travesty of a statement.
Good afternoon. It's been a long day. First off, I just
Oh, we know it's been a long day.
letting you guys know that it's a lot of information that you guys should be privy to, I believe. You and you alone have the power. You and you alone decide what is true from what isn't true. You should be informed that you have the power to nullify any law that you don't agree with.
Daryl is not entirely correct here. Yes, the jury can nullify laws. However, this is only done when the law that has been broken is extremely strange and the person is 100% guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. For example, Alaska has a law that states it's illegal to whisper in someone's ear while they're moose hunting. If a case like this found its way to trial, the jury could nullify that law. Daryl
the-
Brooks gave his closing statement for 50 minutes without saying very much.
Wow, they're
other than
moose
attempts to
hunting.
debunk
How the fuck you supposed to know that somebody whispered in my ear while we was moose hunting? I'm supposed to go call the cops and report that? Yo, he whispered in my ear when I was fucking trying to shoot a moose. He whispered in my ear. And he could go to jail for that? Oh, man.
evidence and
These
acquit
laws
himself
is
of his
crazy.
crimes. However, there was one point that stuck out from his closing statement that shows just how evil he truly is.
It's hard to keep everything together emotionally. And honestly, I don't believe that I have any more tears left. It's
No
been
more
a
tears
hard
left?
year for the families, mostly. That opens the door to talk about forgiveness for a little bit. With every healing process, there comes a forgiving process. It's not an easy thing for anyone.
Daryl is trying to deflect the jury onto it being a tough year for victims as well as anyone who was present at the parade. But in reality, it was his crime that made this year the toughest for the victims. The jury deliberated for less than a day, and they came back with a verdict that he was guilty on all 76 counts.
Damn.
Daryl was ready to be sentenced, but not before the judge spoke to him directly first.
Frankly, Mr. Brooks, no one is safe from you. This community can only be safe
got a big ass
if you
Bible.
are behind bars for the rest of your life.
Oh.
The community is not safe from your violent and criminal conduct unless you are in custody. You left a path of destruction, chaos, death, injury, confusion, and panicked as you drove 7 or so blocks through the Christmas parade, never once stopping or seemingly caring about the wake of carnage that you left. 4 of those blocks were turned into a scene that frankly is no different than a war zone. This court is imposing a life sentence without the possibility or eligibility for extended supervision. 1 life sentence for Virginia Sorensen. 1 life sentence for Leanna Owen. 1 life sentence for Tamara Durand. 1 life sentence for Jane Kulik. 1 life sentence for Bill Huspel. And 1 life sentence for Jackson Sparks.
6 life sentences, bro?
Darrell Brooks was sentenced to 6 consecutive life sentences.
God damn!
Parole, meaning that Darrell Brooks will spend the rest of his life.
Oh, come on, man. Yo, thanks for rocking with me, man. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me, man. Go hit that like and subscribe button. Leave a comment and let me know how y'all feel about this, man. Until the next time, I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. It's your boy, High in the Bear. I'm out of here.